Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Maverick Baking and welcome to another chocolate review. Today we are tasting not one or two, but three biscuity biscuit and biscuit cream filled chocolate bars, and I could not be more excited to bring this one to you. If you're new to the channel, my name is Kelly and here we conduct lots of other lovely chocolate reviews as well as foodie vlogs, recipes, what I eat in a day videos, all things edible are present, the legal variety. And today we are talking about a brand that is much beloved across the UK and in many parts of Europe, and also I believe in parts of Canada and the United States. We're talking about Lotus Biscoff. The biscuits, the spread that just has us all in a chokehold over its caramelized biscuity loveliness. And now, apparently, you can find them in chocolate bars too. So today we are going to be tasting our way through all three of these bars. One that is filled with the actual biscuit pieces, the other two filled with the biscuit cream and potentially also biscuit pieces that definitely won't become a mouthful. And I'm going to be letting you guys know whether it's worth your money or not. The first one we're going to be tasting is the Biscoff milk chocolate with Biscoff crumbs. Now, I don't know how long this has kind of been on the go for. It still says new, but I believe that sometimes those stickers are there for up to 2 years, so just don't listen to that. And what we can expect from it is milk chocolate with caramelized biscuit pieces. Unsurprisingly, it seems like it's going to be a relatively sweet kind of generic milk chocolate, and at the start of the show should be those biscuit crumbs, but let's get into it. Very, very happy to see that once we unwrap this paper packaging, we have some lovely, lovely gold foil. If you haven't been around the channel for too long, gold foil on chocolate is just something I've carried a long love for since watching Willy Wonka as a child, so I'm always happy to see it. But let's get this open and see what we have going on here. So we have big chunks of milk chocolate there, as you can see. There is a little bit, hoping that the light behaves for me, of kind of chunkiness, some little pieces visible on the back there, some kind of dimpling. But let's see how this is. Again, I'll try and give you a close-up here. If not, I'll try and describe it to the best of my ability. But you can see that there are little caramelized biscuit pieces in there, along with what looks like little kind of air bubbles too. But let's see how this tastes. Interesting. Being completely honest, if I didn't know that this was supposed to be a Biscoff Lotus biscuit bar, nothing about that experience would have informed me of that. The chocolate itself is sweet. It's generic. It's not particularly chocolatey. It's a very much kind of sugar and vegetable oil. Mainstream milk chocolate does the job if you want something sweet and creamy that you're not thinking too much about. Has almost no flavour. And in terms of the actual biscuit crumbs, they are quite literally crumbs. They're not pieces. They're not even big kind of crumbly crumbs. It's just really kind of very fine crunchy crumbs. Like breadcrumb texture almost, like very fine. And whether it's the chocolate around them overwhelming them or what it is, you can't taste that that's a Lotus biscuit whatsoever. It tastes like either a puffed rice chocolate bar or just a generic biscuit crumb filled chocolate bar. There's no kind of lingering caramelized biscuit flavour. There's no distinctive Lotus flavour. If you want the taste of a completely generic off-brand chocolate biscuit, that's what that was. There's no aftertaste. There's no distinctive texture other than vague milk chocolate and vague biscuit crumb, which I didn't expect, to be honest. Lotus and like any Biscoff product in general is typically quite powerful and very, very sweet, but it's just kind of very invisible, undetectable here. I have to say, that's a solid 2 out of 5 for me. Very interesting. But let's move on to the two other bars we have to taste today. One of which being the Biscoff cream-filled Biscoff bar, and then we're going to have that white one afterwards. So let's see if this one, which is milk chocolate with a 50% caramelized biscuit filling, which appears to be more of the actual kind of cream spread, maybe with some crunchy pieces in there too. Let's see if this one kind of translates the Biscoff vibes more than that first bar did. So We have the exact same kind of design here on the front, except on the back you can see that there's none of those kind of dimply, crumbly pieces in there. Oh wow, okay. You can see, hopefully, again, if camera lighting and trickery will obey my command, that there is just a thick, kind of dense layer of that cream in there. But let's see if that actually translates to taste and if it's worth anything. Pure, dense, sticky sweet Biscoff everything, basically. But just to double check. Smooth, melting, creamy, and nothing but Biscoff in the flavour. The chocolate itself, almost devoid of flavour. Very, very, very vague generic milk chocolate flavour. Incredibly soft. It is a little bit warm here just now, but nothing to justify that level of softness. Heavy with the sugar, heavy with the vegetable oils. However, the Biscoff is Biscoffing, finally. It is delivering what you're buying this bar for. Tiniest bit of that kind of fine breadcrumby crunch, much like the last bar, and a dense mouthful of that sweet, cinnamony, caramelly biscuit flavour in there. That, without a doubt, if you tasted that blindfolded, you'd know what kind of product you were eating an emulation of. Of course it's sweet, of course it's sticky, of course it's sickly after a couple of pieces, but if you like Biscoff, as I do, you know that that's what you're signing up for, and you're happy about it. You're getting big bang for your buck in terms of the weight and the size of this bar, and it's absolutely delivering everything it says it's going to. That's a solid 4 out of 5 from me. Moving on to our final taste test of today's video. We're going to be tasting exactly the same thing, but with a white chocolate casing on the outside instead. This one really appeals to me. I have an incredibly sweet tooth. I love all things white chocolate. I love all things Biscoff. Opening up, we have exactly the same kind of design. It's a very white, it's white chocolate, I know. It's a very white chocolate. It doesn't look particularly, what was I saying? Don't really smell much white chocolate. You get the Biscoff flavour immediately, followed by just vanilla. But I do have to entertain you with the texture of this because it's just, yeah. There is no snap. There really needs to be some better tempering of this chocolate or less kind of vegetable oil input into it in terms of the texture because it's a little bit, but you can see without a doubt, even if this doesn't focus whatsoever, the kind of contrast of those fillings there, of that thick kind of crunchy Biscoff spread in the middle and that very suspect white chocolate on the outside. But let's see if it's worth buying. Even more violently Biscoffy than the last one. This is essentially almost like it's been created as a means of getting the spread into your mouth in a portable fashion without having to have a spoon nearby. So sweet, so sticky, so creamy. No need to chew it whatsoever, basically. It's somewhere between a solid and a liquid already. Again, not the highest quality chocolate you've ever eaten. In fact, it's almost pointless. It's essentially just a shell to contain as much Biscoff spread as is possible to fit inside a chocolate bar. It adds the most vague vanilla aftertaste to that Biscoff, which is already delicious because you have the cinnamon in there, you have the caramel in there, you have those tiny biscuity crunchy pieces. This is a dessert. This isn't just a chocolate bar, this is a whole ass dessert in your mouth, and it's good, you know. Being picky, much like with the milk chocolate, I do think the texture of the chocolate on the outside needs a little bit of work. As I said, it's quite warm here, 19 or 20 degrees. Chocolate should not be like that at that temperature whatsoever. It needs to have a little bit more firmness to it, in my opinion. The flavour is almost non-existent, but it's delivering at absolute maximum the Biscoff flavour, unlike that first milk chocolate bar did. It's doing everything the package says it will do. There's white chocolate, it's creamy, it's sweet, it's vanilla-y. There's the Biscoff, there's the texture. It's a big old bar. In terms of what this product's doing, it could do a tiny bit more, but it's doing pretty bloody well. So that's another 4 out of 5 for me. If you guys have tasted these Biscoffy bars, do let me know in the comments. Are you a big fan? It's not something I'd ever choose over Nutella or over a decent kind of peanut butter, but it's something I am a big fan of in desserts in general. So these will be very happily devoured. Also for my porridge girlies, as it's getting into that kind of time of year again, this melted into a bowl of porridge, I think is going to be a fantastic idea. But I'm afraid that is all I have time for today, folks. Thank you so much for joining me on this very biscuity voyage today. It's been a pleasure as always, and I will see you for the next one.